Hello, Michael with the WriterSanctuary. Now, pre-made book cover art has its benefits and drawbacks, like most other publishing tools on the internet. However, some of the designs I've seen have been incredibly eye-catching and reasonably priced. It's no wonder why the industry has grown rapidly in recent years. Now, pre-made art is nothing new. However, its development has and use have grown exponentially over the years, to the point where Google pulls products from a range of websites when you try to search the topic. But is pre-made art something you want to use when publishing your book? Now, what is pre-made book cover art? Now, pre-made book covers are images that have already been designed and are available for purchase. Now, most are created to fit in ebook platforms, but a lot of designers offer services in addition to the image purchase for printed copies of books. Now, in most scenarios, you'd send the designer your author name and the title of your book at checkout, and most will have an image back to you within 48 hours. Now, once you've received the artwork, it becomes yours, and the designer relinquishes any rights previously held. Now, selling pre made covers is a sound practice. This is coming from someone who was a ghostwriter for the first 5 years of his career. In this case, however, the creator already spent time designing something that may fit a certain niche. Now, for many self published authors, a $200 cover could mean the difference in attracting more people to read the blurb and buy the book. So let's take a look at some of the pros and cons for buying pre-made book covers. Now, first of all, there are a lot of designs that you can choose from. For instance, you can go to the book cover designer and see that they have literally tens of thousands of covers to sift through. And the covers can go across all kinds of genres, ranging from action adventure all the way down to young adult. And that's just one website. That's not including Book Cover Zone or something you'd find on Etsy. So the bottom line is that you have a lot of covers available that you can sift through that are unique and have never been used before. Another pro to book cover art is that a lot of them are not overly that expensive. Now, when I was researching the blog post for this video, I found covers ranging from $34 all the way up to $1,200, depending on the designer and the artist. And a lot of the $100 ones looked really good. So you don't have to break the bank to find something good. Another pro to cover art is that they have a quick turnaround. Like I said before, a lot of them will get it back to you within 48 hours. I've seen a couple of complaints from some that the artist took a little bit longer, but still, 2 or 3 days is a hell of a lot better than waiting 2 or 3 months. So if you need something quick and easy, there you go. Another pro is that a lot of places have the capacity for directly hiring the artists in some cases. Now, I can't quote how much they cost because the only way to get a price quote is by contacting the artist directly. But on platforms like the book cover designer, you can contact the artist directly if you want something that's more custom. Of course, that's going to take longer than 48 hours, but at least you have that option. And it might cost you a bit extra. And the last pro for pre-made covers is that it supports actual artists. Instead of plugging in a prompt into something like Midjourney, you actually get something that's unique, created by a human that offers their talent, their personality. I'm in the mindset that if you have to use AI to create cover art, you're not the artist, the AI is. You're nothing more than a prompt jockey. But in the platforms like the book cover designer, there is stipulations where there is no AI allowed at all. In fact, the book cover designer prohibits the use of AI. So when you buy a cover from somebody on the website, you're supporting an actual artist. Okay, so what about some of the cons for pre-made book art? There's only a few of them that I could think of. First of all, and probably the most damaging, is that it's going to take some time to find one that perfectly fits your book. Now you can scroll for quite a long time trying to find that perfect cover that fits your book. Absolutely. And chances of you finding one that's perfect for it are slim to none. Oh, don't get me wrong, there's some great designs out there that could probably accentuate your book, but you're not going to find one that's going to perfectly encapsulate what you've written. Now, there are some that are going to come awfully close, and you probably will succeed really well with them. Just keep in mind that you're not going to find that absolute perfect fit for your manuscript. Well, I can't really say that you won't ever find it because there might be some out there that just have designs that will just come to life for you, but you still need to spend time scrolling through all the websites trying to find one. Also, keep in mind that some of the artists that create these covers don't really necessarily label them correctly. You could find one in dystopia that fits your fantasy novel just perfectly. So it is going to help to sift through them. Besides, I kind of like the idea of going through and seeing the different covers because then it gives me ideas for things I want to write in the future. So the pre-made book covers can, another, I guess, a pro of it would be to, you're able to get some ideas from other people's artwork. Now, one of the major cons that a lot of people probably won't like is that some of them are going to use stock images. Now, not all artists will use stock imagery, but a lot of them do, and they alter them to a point where they're kind of unique, but there's still a chance that that same graphic that's on the novel could be used somewhere else. Now, there's nothing wrong inherently with stock images. A lot of us use them because, well, we don't have the capacity to take all these photographs for all the content we create. That's why stock image sites are so popular as it is. But it is possible to take some images from these stock sites and alter them to fit pretty much any kind of vision that you might have for a graphic and alter it to a point where you don't even recognize that it came from a stock. It's just something that I wanted to mention that a lot of these websites do allow stock images, but they are altered and they're used in addition to the artwork, not as an absolute. And lastly, there's limited customization options that are available for most of these websites. Now, some artists will let you customize to a certain extent. You can ask for a certain person's hair to be a different color, add some more graphics to it, or change something that's in it, but a lot of them are going to charge you extra. At this point, it becomes up to the artist whether they want to accept those customizations or not. Essentially, all you have the capacity to give them is your author name and title. Other than that, you get what you pay for. Like I said, it really comes down to the platform and the artist. Some of them will change stuff, some of them won't. So there you have it. Those are the 7 that I can think of offhand. And for most people, the pros are going to definitely outweigh the cons. If you don't really mind people using stock photos and changing them to fit your manuscript, that's great. I use stock photos all the time and change them. Case in point, I took a stock photo of a cloak and put it on his head and edited it in Photoshop and came out with a brilliant wraith that's on the glass for Shadows of Atlantic City. My point being is don't discredit using stock images necessarily out of hand because there's a lot of great artwork that can be done with them. Really comes down to the artist and how far they edit it. So would I use a pre-made book cover? That's kind of hard to say because the 2 books I have out now are parts of series, and I want all of the books in that series to have the same kind of style and flow. You're not going to get that very well if you're buying pre-made book covers unless it's from the same exact artist who does similar images throughout. Like take the Witcham Chronicles for example. The layout for it is I cosplayed with the skeleton up on Lookout Mountain and edited it in Photoshop. I want to have the same kind of flow for all 5 books. So if I wanted to do something with that, with a pre-made book cover, I would have to find the same kind of style and flow for each one of the books. And that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But if I was writing a standalone book, if I decided to, say, publish 7 or maybe Skeletal that I have on Inkitt, I'd probably do a pre-made book cover because it is so quick. And it's not that expensive. I know some artists that would do the same work for about $1,500. I don't have that. Now, one of the things I wanted to do with the YouTube channel is to challenge us to buy a pre-made book cover and then write a story based on just the cover without having anything edited to it, except for your author name and title, and see what kind of stories we can come up with it. But that costs about $100 or so a pop, so I don't know if that's realistic. I think it'd be fun. I still might do it for myself, just to bring you along for the journey, but there's a lot of fun you can do with pre-made book covers. So what kind of cover art would you like for your book? Like I said, with Kingmaker and the Witcham Chronicles, I'm doing cosplay because it's fun. It cost me a little bit in costumes, but yeah, it was quite entertaining to walk up Lookout Mountain with a skeleton on my shoulders and getting a bunch of smiles and laughs and whatnot's coming up and down. So yeah, I think we'll keep doing it for the books I have planned for Witcham. Uh, for Shadows of Atlantic City, that's a 7-book series. I did that all in Photoshop, and I might stick with the same kind of format throughout all 7 books. I kind of like how it came out, so um, I like designing my own. I've been using Photoshop since 1995, so I'm kind of versed. But I will say this, it is a time saver to have somebody else do it for you. Anywho, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button for more videos about self-publishing, blogging, freelance writing, or anything else I cover. Hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. I think it's going to do it for me today. I'm going to go back to working on my book. I'll see you next time.